Welcome, giants of fate, the ones who were never meant to wait their turn, the ones whose bones burned long before the fire ever touched them. You who have been doubted, bruised, mocked, silenced, but never extinguished. Welcome to the place where everything you ever thought was random starts to look like it was etched by destiny itself. Welcome to the arena of unexplainable strikes of brilliance, where chaos speaks in clarity and the unseen hand of your inner voice reveals just how deep your potential runs beneath the noise. You ever say something that just landed like thunder and people paused like time hiccuped? That moment where your words felt accidental, but the silence afterward told you otherwise, where you tossed out a thought, half forgotten, half formed, and suddenly the world stared, like you channeled the sky itself. That wasn't luck, that wasn't coincidence, that was the you they can't explain, the you that operates beyond the polished edges, the you that bleeds genius through the cracks. They won't understand it because they weren't meant to. See, there's a type of power that doesn't ask for permission, doesn't announce itself with rehearsed credentials, doesn't come in with a script or a perfect pitch. It just shows up raw, unpredictable, and undeniable. That's you when you stop trying to be polished, when you stop trying to mimic, when you start letting the fire in your marrow speak through your skin. And when that version of you shows up, even your slip-ups sound like scripture. Even your scattered thoughts carry weight because they're not just thoughts, they're echoes of everything you've survived, everything you've wrestled through and didn't die from. You don't need a stage to be legendary. You don't need a spotlight to speak prophecy. Sometimes you drop a line in a room full of noise and it silences the storm, not because you rehearsed it, not because you planned it, but because it was you, the real you, the one forged in the unseen hours of doubt and sweat and loneliness that no one ever witnessed, but you kept showing up for anyway. That version of you, that's the one they try to replicate, but never can. That's the one they call mysterious, unpredictable, even dangerous. Not because you're reckless, but because you don't fit their formula. You don't play by the clock. You don't owe the world a schedule. You arrive when the moment demands it. And when you speak, even if it's once in a blue moon, the ground remembers the vibration. And yes, you didn't prep. Maybe you walked into that meeting, that interview, that confrontation with zero in your pocket. But don't forget, your soul doesn't walk in empty. It walks in with decades of pain, persistence, failure, and self-forging lessons that no book could ever hold. You are walking decades of experience, compressed into seconds of brilliance, and they call it luck, because they don't have the language to call it what it really is. Divine rhythm moving through imperfect hands. You don't need permission to be powerful. You just need to stop waiting for the world to understand you. You were never built to be understood. You were built to impact, to disrupt, to disturb the stale air of rooms that have forgotten what truth sounds like. So when your voice hits and it feels accidental, trust me, it's not. It's the result of years of internal warfare discipline, without applause, silence, without validation, and the kind of grit that grows in darkness. Don't let them tell you you need structure before impact. Don't let them convince you that preparation is the only path to power. Yes, there is honor in mastery. Yes, there is strength in discipline, but there is magic in the unfiltered, untrained, raw surge of your unguarded self. And when that voice speaks, it doesn't ask if it's welcome. It simply arrives like a storm, and the world listens because it doesn't know what else to do. And if you're wondering how you did it without prep, how you stunned a room when even you weren't sure what you were about to say, understand this, it wasn't you guessing. It was you remembering not from books, but from your blood, from the long nights you didn't quit, from the mornings you rose, without applause, from the failure that taught you more than any mentor ever could. It was you, speaking from the oldest part of yourself, the part that's never doubted your potential, even when your mind did. There's a rhythm to your chaos, a design in your disorder. You're not random. You're just unscripted, and that makes you dangerous in the most beautiful way. You're the kind of person who might stay quiet for hours, then drop one sentence and rewire someone's life. Not because you plan to, but because you are that sentence. You've lived, it bled for, it survived it, and now you carry it, like lightning in your voice. So next time you say something, and it hits like prophecy, don't act surprised. It's not magic, it's memory, it's survival, it's soul. It's the culmination of 1,000 versions of you, dying and being reborn again, stronger, sharper, truer. And every time you speak from that place, even if it sounds messy to you, the world will feel it like thunder behind glass. Let them question how you did it. Let them marvel. Let them whisper about your timing, your instinct, your luck. But you must never question it again. You must know it's not about having it all figured out. It's about trusting the voice that rises when everything else goes quiet. It's about leaning into the part of you that knows what to say, even when you don't know why it knows, and letting that voice take the mic when the world least expects it. This isn't about being loud, it's about being true. This isn't about stealing the spotlight, it's about striking like lightning in the dark. And you don't plan lightning, you don't choreograph it, you don't prep it into a tight little speech. You just become the storm and let it speak. They're not ready for that kind of power, but that's not your concern. Your concern is to not silence it. Your concern is to not overthink it, to not apologize for it. Your concern is to trust that when the words come, even unplanned, they come from a deeper place than logic. They come from the center of who you've always been. You didn't prepare, but you did survive, and that's preparation in its rawest form. You prepared through the heartbreaks, through the rejections, through the nights. You had no one but your stubborn will to lean on. And when you speak now, when you move now, when you create now, all of that hidden history leaks through and makes even your accidents sound like revelations. So don't downplay your moments of unplanned brilliance. Don't brush off the compliments. Don't pretend like it didn't mean something. It meant everything. It was proof that you are more than your preparation. You are more than your plans. You are a walking convergence of chaos and calling. And when those two align, your voice carries the force of truth in a world addicted to lies. They're watching now, not because you begged for attention, but because you became impossible to ignore. They're asking now how you did it. And the answer is this: you didn't do it for them. You didn't do it to impress you. Did it because something inside you refused to be quiet one more second. Let them think it was random. Let them chalk it up to chance. But you and I know better. We know. It was fire, finally given air. We know it was the storm, finally speaking. We know it was every time you held your tongue, and now you don't have to anymore. So keep speaking, even when you don't feel ready, because ready is a lie, made to keep you quiet. Keep moving, even when you don't have a plan, because your steps are guided by instinct, older than reason. Keep creating, even when you feel like a mess, because mess births masterpieces. And your mind was made to birth revolutions, not just routines. Next time it happens, next time you speak, and silence the world without warning, don't flinch, don't shrink, don't second guess, smile and remember, this wasn't a fluke. It was you, the real, you finally unfiltered, finally unafraid, finally unleashed. And that's not something anyone can prepare for, not even you. You see, there's a terrifying beauty in showing up unprepared because it forces you to trust something far bigger than the rehearsed mind. It forces you to lean into the whisper of your intuition, the quiet drumbeat in your chest that no logic can explain. When you throw out those random words and they hit like a prophecy, what's really happening is that you're tapping into a primal current of your own existence, a current that has been building beneath your surface through every hardship, every failure, every moment you thought you wouldn't make it through the night. This power isn't something you earn overnight. It's not a trophy you collect or a skill you polish until it gleams. It's the raw, unfiltered truth that you are, the parts you hide even from yourself, erupting into the world because it can no longer be contained. And that is the scariest, most electrifying kind of freedom there is. Freedom from the need to be perfect. Freedom from the chains of expectation. Freedom to speak your truth, even when the world isn't ready for it. You might be thinking, but how can I trust that voice? How do I know it won't fail me? And the answer is, you don't. Not always, not every single time. But here's the catch. The moments when you do trust it, when you allow yourself to speak without the shield of preparation, those moments are the ones that shatter ceilings, break cycles, and rewrite your story. Because the world doesn't need another polished, rehearsed speaker. The world needs the cracked, raw, real voice, the one that's been tempered in the fires of your personal battles. That voice speaks with a conviction that can't be faked, because it's speaking from experience, from survival, from a place that's been broken and rebuilt 1,000 times over. And here's the truth no one tells you. Sometimes that voice will sound chaotic, messy, incomplete, like a half-remembered dream caught in a waking moment. But that's the point. It's not meant to fit neatly into a box. It's meant to unsettle, to provoke, to shake the foundations of complacency and demand attention, because it carries the weight of your existence, not just your rehearsed words. When you embrace this, when you stop fearing the unpredictability of your own brilliance, you step into a force that cannot be contained or controlled. You become a storm that no one can predict, a lightning bolt that refuses to be harnessed, a voice that cuts through the noise because it carries the raw energy of life itself. And yes, there will be moments of doubt, moments where you question if you really meant what you said, if you were just lucky, if maybe it was all just chance. But those moments are fleeting and they don't define you. What defines you is what happens after, how you rise from that silence, how you own your impact, how you keep speaking even when your words feel imperfect, because that imperfection is where your true power lives. So when you look back on those moments where your random words hit like a prophecy, don't try to explain them away. Don't apologize for your unprepared brilliance. Celebrate it, honor it, and recognize that it's not random at all. It's the universe aligning with the deepest parts of you, the parts you've been too scared or too tired to trust until now. This is your moment, not because you've planned it perfectly, not because you've mastered every detail, but because you've finally learned to trust the unpredictable, fierce force that is you. That force doesn't need permission, it doesn't wait for the right time, and it doesn't apologize for shaking the world when it speaks. You threw out some random society, and it hit like prophecy, because inside you lives a power far greater than preparation. You didn't just speak, you became the voice that the world was waiting for, even if it didn't know it yet. And now there's no going back. The truth is, when you speak without preparation, you are tapping into a reservoir of wisdom and strength that no amount of planning can replicate. Preparation teaches you structure, discipline, technique, all of which have their place, but it can also cage you in, suffocating the wildness inside that burns with its own kind of genius. That wildness is the secret sauce, the untamed spark that turns ordinary words into something that reverberates through souls and ages. You don't need to stand behind a perfectly crafted script to shake a room. You don't need endless rehearsals to strike a chord that echoes long after you're gone. Sometimes the most powerful truth comes from the unfiltered moment when your guard is down, when your mind isn't trying to impress or persuade, but simply speaking because it must. That's the essence of prophecy. It's not a rehearsed prediction, but a raw revelation. It is a glimpse into something greater than yourself, a pulse of life's hidden truths breaking through the surface of your chaos and confusion. It's the voice of your deepest self, shouting through the noise, a voice shaped by every scar, every heartbreak, every triumph you thought would break you, but instead made you whole. And here's the paradox. When you throw out those words randomly, when it seems like you're just throwing things out into the void, you're actually aligning with a force far bigger than your conscious mind. That force is the collective experience of your life, compressed into a flash of clarity. It is the wisdom you didn't know you had, the intuition that bypasses logic and taps directly into the raw energy of existence. No preparation can manufacture that moment. No script can capture that spark. It is born from the parts of you that have been quiet for too long, the parts that the world may have tried to silence or ignore. But they are still there, burning beneath your surface, waiting for the moment to roar. And when they do, when you finally stop editing yourself, stop filtering your truth to fit what others expect or want to hear, that's when your words become prophecy. That's when what you say hits people so deeply it feels like the universe itself has spoken through you. So do not fear those moments when your voice trembles or your thoughts scatter. They are the wildfires of your soul burning away the dead wood of doubt and hesitation. They are the birth pains of a new, fiercer version of you emerging from the ashes of overthinking and self-censorship. You might have walked into that room unprepared, unsure, even scared. But you walked in with everything you needed, the raw, unpolished truth of your experience and the courage to let it out. And that's what made all the difference. That's why your words hit like prophecy, because they weren't just words. They were the voice of survival, of defiance, of relentless hope. Remember this, you were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be real. You were meant to be the unexpected storm that changes everything by refusing to conform. You all were meant to remind the world that sometimes the most profound truths come from the chaos of the unplanned, the messy, the unscripted moments when you are most you. So next time you find yourself speaking without a net, without a script, without a plan, lean into it, embrace it. Know that you are carrying something sacred in those moments. Know that your unprepared brilliance is not a mistake, but a message that you are alive, you are powerful, and you are more than the sum of your fears and doubts. And when the world asks, how did you do that with zero prep? Smile quietly to yourself and answer with the truth only you can know, because I spoke from the place where my soul lives and nothing else mattered. So now, standing at the edge of this moment, it's time to look inward and acknowledge what you have always known, but maybe never fully trusted, that your power does not come from endless preparation, from perfect timing, or from rehearsed words that fit neatly into someone else's expectations. Your power The power that makes your words hit like a prophecy comes from being the storm, from walking through the chaos of your own life and daring to speak the truth that lives beneath the surface of the polished exterior. You threw out what seemed like random words, and they landed with the force of fate because they were never random at all. They were the manifestation of every sleepless night, every doubted dream, every whispered promise you made to yourself to keep going, no matter what. They were the voice of the real you, the unfiltered, unapologetic, unstoppable you, breaking free from the chains of self-doubt and fear. This is your gift, your weapon, your revelation. It is proof that preparation is not the only path to greatness. Sometimes greatness demands that you step into the arena with nothing but your raw soul exposed, your guard down, and your voice loud enough to shake the foundations. It is proof that within you lies a power so profound that even your unplanned moments carry the weight of destiny. So embrace this truth with everything you have. Celebrate the wild, unprepared brilliance that lives inside you. Let it remind you that you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You don't have to have it all figured out to make an impact. All you need is to trust yourself enough to speak your truth, even when the world isn't ready for it, even when you're unsure, even when you feel like you're just throwing words into the void. Because those words, your words, are not empty. They are prophecy. They are the echo of your existence, the reflection of your struggle, the spark of your soul's fire. And when you dare to let them fly free, you become a force that no one can ignore, no one can control, and no one can silence. This is your moment. Your voice is the storm. Your life is the lightning. And every time you speak, without hesitation, without apology, without preparation, you are not just communicating, you are transforming. You are rewriting your story, reshaping your destiny, and reminding the world that the most powerful forces are the ones that come from within, raw, real, and unapologetically you. So go ahead, speak your wild, unprepared truth. Throw it out into the world like a prophecy, because the world doesn't need more rehearsed speeches. It needs your lightning. It needs your storm. It needs you. And when they ask again, how did you do that with zero prep? You'll smile, knowing the truth. You did it because you never stopped fighting. You did it because you were ready all along. You did it because your soul can't be silenced. And that right there is the power you've always held.